If I don't get a job in 6 months, then I'll start a career in fashion. Taylor, after we started the factory, 2020, I had money to buy machines like, Tepak is like a cool money in the industry that people don't even realize. Illustration is there. They're like cool money that you don't need to worry about peddling a machine and then you're making your cash. I have limited resources, so I had to use what I have. I have the knowledge, I have the skill. So why not start the production first? I saw how business is being run live. I didn't have to pay for that. I saw live production system, from how to communicate with the client, pattern making, to cutting, to machinist, to QC. It's all at free of charge. Internship is a way that if you know what you're doing, it's an academy that you do not pay for. If you don't come from a privileged family, you might not be able to build in 3 months. It will take years to build. For each time you do a thing or two on your business, you're building, you're putting a block. It's layers upon layers. So the glamour is when everything is set. When I was coming from heaven, God did not hand over a manual that, you build House of Estilos. So this is page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4. So when this thing happened, this is how you behave.
Next?
No, that was a breaking moment for me, because I was like, no. Are there days that you would second guess yourself? Yes, you would. You will. But
if I'm wrong, you correct me. It's been almost like 16 years in the fashion space, from when you had your first training, other trainings, to starting House of Estilos almost about a decade ago. If I'm right, is it around like 16 there, about 15-ish, 16-ish. And I'm sure that over this journey, must have had the very highs and also have the very lows.
Definitely.
But reflecting through this timeline, was like the most unbelievable part of this journey for you? Something that when you think back, it shocks you that, how did this happen, or how did I get here?
So my journey in fashion started from just passion. Okay, this is what I want. I want to wear this, and I would like my outfit to be like this. And then it's a struggle to get somebody that can actually interpret what I want to wear, how I want my outfit to be. I had to come to Lagos for a training. Apart from the initial training that I had, I want to scale, I want to advance. So the training I had is not looking like what I wanted. So I had to come to Lagos for a training. And then from my space of internship, I had to get my first client, from first client to second client. And so the journey, when I look at it, it wasn't like, it's a planned journey. But ultimately, the people I met after the training, the people I met eventually kind of carve a path for me to really understand my niche in the industry. Because, like I said, it started from passion. So it's not that I have one specific thing in my brain that I wanted to do. But by the virtue of that training, I was able to meet people. I was able to align myself properly in the industry. Then I can know, this is what I want to do. Or I want to go into mass production. Which bettered the factory. Or aside from mass production, I want to have my own products, which bettered the ready-to-wear line as well. So I think that moment, I could link everything to that particular, that's like the boom moment, that
you
chatted
got
my
clarity
course.
of what's exactly possible in the space. Interesting. I think that also to reiterate the power of mentorship, or being around people that can open your mind, or being in spaces where
so you can see possibilities.
Exactly. And that will help you know that I think I can achieve this, so I need to do everything possible to learn. But then I now want to take you a bit back, right?
Okay.
So before studying biochemistry in University of Ilorin, before your first training,
you've done some research.
So before your first training, and you mentioned while you were speaking that you just had this desire that you want to look or dress in a certain way, and you think that other maybe fashion designers could not produce what you had in mind. So I want to take you back a bit. Before even studying in school, before your first training, what was your early experiences like, that you think that maybe certain seeds has been planted that maybe gave birth to that desire to do something in fashion, to look in a certain way, to go for a training? even though you had that training, maybe in your first year or second year in university, I want to know, why did you decide to even have a training at that point in time?
My dad is a very fashionable person. May his soul rest in peace. My dad loves fashion. Like, he literally, when it's festive period, he decides what we want to wear. Daddy will like get you the right size, get you the right fit. He's very particular, very detailed about that. He also likes dressing well, dressing good. So I can say maybe it stems from that. That's a seed on its own. So going to my first training, I think I started my first training before I gained admission. So I wanted to study the almighty medicine. Year 1, year 2. Yeah, third
So
year.
before school, there was no idea of maybe I can build a career in fashion at that point. It was just medicine.
I wanted to be a medical doctor. If not medicine, I want to be in research. I want to solve problems. That's what I ever wanted to do then. So first year, no medicine. Second year, no medicine. Third year, no medicine. So I told my mom, I want to go and learn fashion. She was like, let me say I exerted. Hurry me on the bro.
My dead body.
She was like, oh, why? Why do I want to go and start? Then it's not like what we have now.
Yeah.
There's technology now. People the knowledge is now vast. There's advancements now in fashion. What they don't see fashion as fashion, they see it as tailoring. So she's like, tailor, like she said, do I think I can make it? I can gain admission into medicine. Like, even if I don't get admission into medicine, she would like me to study other course, but not tailoring. I told her, I didn't say I want to stop school. Like, it's just on the side while I wait for admission. So she was like, okay. And then we had this family friend, and he's good. I feel comfortable learning with him because he does what they call, then it's either native or English wear. So he's so mostly English wear. He does suits. So I'm comfortable learning from him because then when I say I don't like the kind of garment I see is because I have aunts that they wear atmosphere, George. I see how the details in those outfits are. So I don't like it when I give my clothes to tailor and then they can't achieve that same thing. So I was comfortable learning with him because he's more detailed and he's good.
I can understand how parents always want to protect their kids. You had a dream of studying medicine and then suddenly you are thinking about fashion. Leaving school now to continuing in fashion. Did you already know, maybe when you were graduating, that I don't think I'll use the certificate, I'll just like continue maybe in fashion or build a career in fashion? At what point did you now know that I want to just focus on fashion and build a business or build my career around fashion?
Okay, after school, after NYSC, I decided that, I'm going to look for a job for 6 months. So if I don't get a job in 6 months, then I'll start a career in fashion. And not just any job. I had places that I wanted to work with. Studying biochemistry, I was eyeing research labs. So I wanted to work with institutes like the UNDP and the likes, so in their research labs. So I didn't want to do just any job. So I gave myself the timeline that, in 6 months' time, if I don't lay my hands on any job that could define a career path for me, then I would move into fashion. And then 6 months came. I think I only did one interview with KPMG. And that wasn't even my line in the first place. So then I just settled in that, okay, let's do this fashion thing.
Over this journey, 8 years plus, I'm sure you must have had some very, very fulfilling moments where you are proud of your career as a fashion designer. And trust me, also building a business in Lagos, Nigeria comes with its own challenges. So I'm sure you must also have had your most maybe challenging moment or maybe failures in quote. Can you share any stories around your most fulfilling and then your most challenging?
Actually, business comes with today you're up, like you feel you're on top. And then tomorrow a challenge will just come and then you feel, like you would almost want to second guess yourself. You almost want to feel like, okay, who sent me? Let me send myself, or God had my backing. So I would say the most challenging part was the fact that I had to wait on God for almost 2 years before I could get my first industrial machine. I would say that was the most challenging part because at that point I felt, do I really want to do this? At some point, at least, do I really want to do this? Is this thing really for me, or I had to look for something else to do? So I would say that was the most challenging part. So like you had to gather all the momentum you need to take off. So gathering that momentum wasn't easy at all. So I would say the most fulfilling part for me was, I think when we had to showcase in Paris. Yeah. So I felt, it's fulfilling because I've never been there before, but my product has been there. So I felt, yeah.
Really proud of yourself.
I'm proud of myself, yes. And I think what made it more rewarding was the fact that out of all the outfits that we took there, I think we only returned with just two pieces out of 50 pieces. So that's like, I felt, I'm doing something.
Amazing. So I want us to sit with the first part. That's the most challenging, right? I think it's something that a lot of people underestimate how much it's good to see. It's always nice to see the glamour, to see the academy now, to see, your product has gotten to Paris, but then there were moments or there were years when you had to wait almost like 2 years before you can even get your first industrial machine. So there may still be people at that current phase now where they are struggling, they are trying to figure it out. During that 2 years, what were you doing and what even led to you? Did you have to save up? Did you have to borrow? How did you sum up the money to even get that first one?
That's right. Okay. During those moments, I think for me, that was after I had gone for my training in Lagos. I'd come back. I returned back to Ilorin. So, and initially I was doing bespoke, but after my training, I made up my mind that, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to do ready to wear, and that's my focus. So I can now match that with the bulk production. That's the factory, the mass production aspect of it. So those were the two things that I wanted to do. During those moments, I had to turn down jobs because a lot of people know me to do bespoke. So like they'll bring their items or so. I felt, okay, before I even go for the training at all, I had wanted to start. But each time I'd said, next week I'm going to design some products, I'm going to sew them, I'll have bought fabrics and all of that, I'll have my sketches. But I get overwhelmed with people's jobs that I couldn't even focus on that. So I could remember vividly a conversation between myself and my younger sister. It was like, this is ready to wear, I want to focus. She said, you barely sleep because of people's job. How do you want to achieve that? So, but the training in Lagos was like an escape for me. So when I returned back to Ilorin, then I decided that, I wasn't going to take bespoke again. So when people come, Moji, I want to make this, I said, no, I'm not doing that. I want to do ready to wear. Okay, so now where's the ready to wear? That's where the problem is because I need tools to do the ready to wear. I've seen things done better. I've seen that, okay, my products can appear better with some equipment. So I've been believing God for that, and it wasn't forthcoming. So during those period, what I was doing was I was praying. I was in faith. I had all my rooms. You will see sticky notes of different scriptures all together. These are the things that I would confess those things like no man business. I think I was the time I was doing 3 hourly confession. So we'll do 6 a.m., 9, 12, 3, 6 p.m., 9 p.m., that. There was a season. But it wasn't coming to that. Like, I can remember really because, like, it took over 2 years. Because I remember there was a time we were doing crossover prayer. So I had my expectation. I'd prayed about it, And then you come back the next year again with the same prayer points. Like, nothing on that list has changed. That was a moment. I think that was a breaking moment for me because I was like, no, And one thing I told God then was like, no, I'm not coming back next year with this list
You
again.
have to just
I'm not going to
answer
come
me.
back. I'm not going to come back because sometimes the devil tends to sow a seed of doubt. Because I remember then I was praying. I was like, oh, I came with last year with this same prayer request, and the devil said it was even the devil that suggested if you were here last year with this same prayer request, nothing changed. So why are you praying? So and then I was like, okay, I'm going out victorious no matter what. I think that was what bettered the 3 hourly confession and all of that. I was putting together my business plan. The business plan we use up until today, we just do little addition and so okay, things has changed. We've crossed some milestones. We're no longer doing this. We've passed this. That's what we still use up to date. Like the business plan was so detailed. We had 10 years plan. So each year we go back. What I'm just doing at the moment is just, we've passed this level, or our forecast has changed.
You make
Slight adjustments, but it's still relevant up till date. So that was when I did my business plan. I was looking out for grants. I was speaking to people who could believe in my vision and all of that. And how the money came for the machine. Okay, I think I got my industrial machine. I got sewing and serging machine first. How that money came, one of my friends that we just saved together, I just ended the fasting and prayer section then. So that was in August. So he just called, hi Moji, how are you? I'm fine. What are you doing? He said, no, I know you were so passionate about your fashion thing while we're serving. So how far? I was like, oh, I'm still putting things together. I need funds to get some. And she said, how much? I told him the amount. He said, no, I may not be able to do up to that. But at the end of next month, I would give you some funds. Wow. Okay. So the money did not come the next month. The following month, he said, hi, I'm sorry, I won't be able to give you the money again.
I'm sure your hopes were already high that you couldn't
extremely high. So I said, I'll be able to give you the money again. Something came up. Nothing changes. We give glory to God. It was the next month, that was in November, that he now was able to give me some part of the money. I took some, I think my mom's money was with me, 50,000. I added it to it. And then I borrowed 50,000 too from a friend. So I was able to get those 2 machines. And then I just texted someone where I intern in Lagos, like, okay, I've started my production factory. If you have production, I said, wow, that's good. I want to produce something. That was in November. Yeah, I want to produce something for December sales. What's your capacity? I said, what do you want to make? Let me know. And that was how the factory journey started.
Thank you so much for sharing, actually, because we could just have brushed through that place, but like speaking around what exactly happened during that waiting period, I'm sure it'll be helpful for somebody out there, right? Because a season of waiting does not mean that you are there not doing anything. It was a season for you praying, trusting God, writing business plans, applying for grants, and as you mentioned, the same business plan, you just had to adjust and make it still something that you still use even up to today. And then also raising the money, knowing that sometimes it might not come as at the time you want it to come or where you want it to come. And you even had to get more here, borrow here, and eventually you had something like make the move. As far as you have that desire to achieve that thing, just go all the way. You might need to combine here and there. And you were eventually ready. You told the person out there that I think I'm ready, or I have equipment. If you need product, perfect timing. As they say, opportunity, once it meets preparation, that's when it's going to result into great success. Moving on from just making wares for people, just as like client base, ready to wear, you now eventually started expanding to like an ecosystem where you have the factory and then you have the immediate clothes that people can buy, and also you have the academy aspect. So what exactly led you or inspired you that, okay, instead of just having just me catering for my client, I think I want to have a school where I can teach and impact, and beyond just that, I also want to like produce in bulk?
Okay, I think I started off with the factory. Okay. Remember I mentioned that I called someone that, if you want to do production. So that's why I started off from, okay, that's where the rebranding
Started from.
started from. So it started with production. I was producing for brands, and then after a while, I was like, okay, I want to own my own brand. That has or that has always been in picture. So now, one of the things clarity will do for you is this: when I apart from clarity, you also need to apply wisdom. So after my training in Lagos, when I decided that okay, there's a factory, mass production business, and then there's you own your brand business. So which one do you want to do first? If I want to focus on my brand, that means I'll have to outsource my production with money that I don't have. Mind you, I'm working with limited capital here with money that I don't have. So that means I'll have to pay the production house to produce for me. Then I'll start thinking of funds to market. I'll start thinking of content. I'll start thinking of all of that. So I have limited resources. So I had to use what I have. So I have the knowledge, I have the skill. So why not start the production first? When you produce for people, you get some cash flow, and from there you can now invest that money or reinvest it into the ready to wear, and then both work hand in hand simultaneously. I've seen days that the ready to wear is not heading anywhere, that the factory came to rescue. I've seen days that the factory is not heading anywhere, then the ready to wear came to rescue. So I started with what I have. I have skill, I have the knowledge, I know how to, I know what the clients need. So I can give them that service, because that's like a service arm of the business. I can give them that service and get revenue from that. Now we invest the revenue into a product base. The ready to wear is product based. I have to sell products. The academic aspect is just like, okay, what are people teaching people in this country? The fashion space is it might have seemed so congested, but what is the quality of the things being taught in those academies? So I think that was what bettered the academy. Like, okay, I've tried production. I've seen what it looks like. Our product can actually compete with international garments globally. So we've seen that. We've sold our product not just in Nigeria alone, but globally. So we can also teach people to learn that global standard because what we do at the academy, we don't just teach people the basic Nigerian curriculum. Let me put it that way. The curriculum in Nigeria it's in fashion in Nigeria is very funny. So what everybody wants to learn is different from what we're teaching. We're teaching you how the standard work internationally. We're teaching you pattern making. We're teaching you grading. We're teaching you the aspect of mass production. We're teaching you the business side of fashion. We're teaching you tech packs, because sometimes I just wonder what they teach in Nigerian academy, to be honest. So I just felt, when people have this knowledge, and you don't necessarily need, because in the average Nigerian academy setting or fashion school setting, you must learn how to sit down with machine. I can't remember the last time I played that machine. You just learn how to sit down with machine to achieve some things. But then there are things that you could do that will fetch you money. For example, when you do tech packs now, tech pack is like a cool money in the industry that people don't even realize. Illustration is there. They're like cool money that you don't need to worry about peddling a machine, and then you're making your cash. You understand? So that's it.
That's like very enlightening, especially for people that are just coming into the fashion space and are hoping to build a career. You had mentioned how maybe the quality of education in terms of the fashion space. A lot of people get into fashion, maybe they just do apprenticeship under one person, and sometimes they are limited with just what that person knows. I'd love to know, what is your current, you had mentioned what you do at the academy, right? But what's your current recommendation, maybe in terms of different access people might have? Some people might not have the money for registering in an academy.
Sure.
So which other ways would you recommend? Can they still go through one part and come again to another part? For people that just want to build a career properly, like when we get to global standard, what would you recommend, the pathway you recommend for them to follow?
Okay, the pathway is usually We won't knock down apprenticeship because that's where I started from. But when you realize that there's more to this thing, definitely you won't stay at the level of apprenticeship. You want to go further. You want to learn more. Apprenticeship is good. It bettered a lot of things in the industry. Those that are started, I don't want to believe anybody, maybe in this generation now, but in the past generations, like what we know as fashion is you have to go through apprenticeship. So, and that in itself, it's a skill. When people come and say, oh, they want to learn pattern drafting, and then probably they have the skill of freehand, they want to throw it away. I usually tell them, no, you will need it. Pattern drafting is just like a technical part of doing this thing. Those people doing freehand, it's not as if they don't do, but they didn't put into consideration the technicalities of you bringing rulers together, doing mathematics and all of that we do now. But really, I give it to them because it takes a lot of, how would I put it, intelligence to do that without any guide. You know, in pattern drafting now you have guide. Okay, when you do this, add this. All those steps were not there for them, but they did amazing. So we can't sweep out apprenticeship. If it's apprenticeship that you can afford, go for apprenticeship. Just know what you're doing. What's the end goal at the end of the day? Because I believe when you have the end goal in mind, and the reason why people look down on apprenticeship is the fact that their orgas too don't treat them as people as though they want to learn. You meet somebody there for 4 years, 5 years, like they don't have a goal in mind. If you have a goal, an end goal in mind, even in apprenticeship, you can achieve a whole lot. So if now say, oh, I have some knowledge, I want to go the global standard, look for, what's it called, where that global standard is being taught. If you can't afford to go to the school, internship. I used to tell people internship is a way that if you know what you're doing, it's an academy that you not pay for. Based off my own experience now, where I intern, it's not as if when I got there, I have one skill, but probably because it's my path, that's what I wanted to do within a short period of time. I think after my internship, when I told her that, oh, I want to stay behind, she was like, oh, that's fine. A month after, I became the production manager. Like, so if you know what you're doing, internship is where you would see, I saw how business is being run live. Mm-hmm. I didn't have to pay for that. I saw live production system, like, okay, from how to communicate with the clients, because she was so comfortable with me that we'll go to clients meetings together. Mm-hmm. I saw how to communicate with clients free of charge. I saw how to, from pattern making, how it moves to cutting, from cutting to machinist to QC. I saw that free of charge. To think of, before I even went for the training in Lagos, then before the opportunity for the training came, I'd been writing letters to different fashion houses that, I want to intern for free. I don't want your money, because I understand that you have a skill set. There's a value there that I don't have. I'm just starting off. Yeah. I don't know how to put things together. I don't understand structure. At that moment, I've never seen things done live before. Properly. I just know that, I have this vision, I want to do it. So I think internship, if you've done apprenticeship, you can afford a proper academy look for a company, an organization that is doing what you offer them internship, free. Everybody likes free stuff. But some people use Zasha. Just have an end goal in mind that, this is what I want to achieve. I think if you have an end goal in mind, the payment would be nothing to you. Like I said, I was writing out that, I want to intern because I know they have a value. I want to learn.
Even if they will not pay you.
Even if they will not pay you.
You learn so much that eventually can translate to the money you need.
Eventually. So I was willing to intern for free, actually. So that is it. And then YouTube. Free resources.
Watch and watch and watch.
You watch and watch and watch till you get tired. They are free resources.
So much you actually said that, like, what stood out from me, what you said is like also like exposure. Very important. Do everything possible to be properly exposed and to be around people that are doing something extremely well or very good. There's no how the knowledge will seep. And definitely. Also, once you are very passionate, even if it's just an internship or maybe just 3 months, show up, give it your very best, your bosses will know. They'll notice that there's something about this one. She's hungry or he's hungry to learn. They want to know. And before you know, you are learning, you are picking up stuff. Even what they did not put in curriculum of the internship, because you are around them, you're asking questions, you would get everything, learning structure, system. And these are the things that eventually, once you start your own, you can now implement all of those things that you've learned. Very, very important. Hi there. I know you're enjoying this episode, but we need you to do something. Please double check if you've subscribed to the channel. If you haven't, click on the subscribe button, like, share, and most importantly, leave a comment. Tell us what you found very insightful, very valuable from this episode so far, or by the time you complete the entire video. Please do that right now. That is one way that it can help us to continue to keep the lights on. Please do that. You can get right back into the video. Let's now talk about production, right? There are a lot of pro-China production, and there are a lot of people, or some set of people that also prefer that maybe we can actually produce locally. What is the experience like currently, those in terms of production in Nigeria? I know there are a lot of bottlenecks. There are those that who prefer to take it out there, and those that are doing it out here. What are the maybe advantages, disadvantages?
I think sometimes we are scared of our own people. Not so many businesses.
To be honest, you need to be scared of Nigerians.
Yes, extremely scared, actually. So not so many business are structured. And you know the way Nigerian mentality works is that you have, or you heard that, oh, this thing, not that you have a first-hand knowledge, you just heard that, oh, that person owns a factory and they are doing a lot. What are they doing? It's just shit, and the next thing you come out and say, oh, you have a factory as well that you can produce. And then when people not trust you with their brand, you mess up. Yeah. So they'll feel, I'm not going to have this headache if I produce in Turkey. I'm not going to have this headache if I produce in China. But the reality is, I've never produced in China. I've never produced in Turkey. But I've had clients that produce in China, that produced in Turkey, and then they'll still come back and say, like, I think one of the reviews somebody dropped for us, she was like, I've been to China. I cried. Like, the sample they gave her was totally different from
when they now delivered the main
production. I think I've had about 2-3 clients mention that in fact, one of them said she flew there, she saw the sample physically, and then she told them to go ahead with it. But then by the time they returned the product, it was a totally different ballgame. So now, I would say probably, I wouldn't speak for people in China too, but I want to believe once there's structure in this production thing, once there's structure and system in place, you should be able to get the sample you approved. Unless you by yourself say, oh, change this thing that is not on my sample, and then probably it backfires during production. If you work with a reputable factory, you should be able to get the same thing. Likewise in Nigeria here. So if somebody has trusted you with their brand, that's, oh, I want you to produce my product for me. If you don't have the system or the structure, go and learn. One. And if you feel, oh, you can't learn, or you feel it's something you can do, maybe along the line you just discover that, oh, this thing is not something I can handle anymore. Be transparent. Tell them that, oh, this is my area of specialty. I can't handle this. I think that saves a lot of headache, and that puts your clients at rest, and that also promotes the production community in Nigeria. They know that, oh, there are certain brands that handle this. This is their specialty. They cannot handle this. I think integrity matters.
Very important.
That is something that I feel is missing in Nigeria, especially based on the fact that we're not there yet. People have not trusted us with production. You know, China, people like, oh, if you want to produce in bulk,
just go straight
to China now. They have built that reputation over time. But here in Nigeria, we've not built that reputation. So we have to deal with integrity. Integrity as a person, integrity towards your brand, as a brand as well. Let me put it that way. Integrity as a person, you as the owner of the brand, are Are you responsible enough to tell us what you can do and what you cannot handle? And when we trust you with what you are to
Would
produce
you
for us,
deliver?
would you deliver? I think that's the major problem with Nigeria. Not that, okay, skill sets might be another issue, but that's another that's
Something that
a
can still be that will
yeah
continue to improve over time.
over time.
Let's talk about price points. How did you figure out pricing at the early stage of your career? What's the cost for a product? How did you do it, and how has it evolved over the years to where you are currently?
When we started production, I didn't have an idea of what the prices or what costs to give my clients. I just wanted to start then. So where I intern, I remember how much we would do some pieces. And then where I intern, I think they do fabric sourcing. That includes cost of fabric. So if I put that out, how much is left? Then I want to retain this person. I shouldn't. I cannot compete with my boss at that moment, so the price has to be lower. And considering the fact that we started from Ilorin, so there were so many people that like they're anxious. Ilorin, what kind of quality am I
Where they
expecting?
come out from?
Lagos is where the thing happened. So if somebody is telling me that they have a factory in Ilorin, what should I expect? Costing is very important. How much did you put into the product development? How much does it cost you to develop the product? The cost of your fabric, the cost of sewing. Even though we had our own in-house, what's it called? In-house sewing team. So what amount was the overhead then? And then how much did you put into marketing? You have to put all of that. Your profit margin might not be that high because you're just starting off. I still believe competitive pricing is a great deal breaker, especially if you're just starting off. You don't have a client base yet. Yeah. You just want people to know you. Then what is more important to you is a workflow, but not a workflow that will break you down as well. What I mean by that is that you can't spend let me say 20,000 producing an item and then you are selling for 18,000. You're not doing charity. You're running at a loss. So, but you can sell at 22, 23, 24, 25, 30. If you know you have a client base that can afford it. So that is there. You have to study your target audience. Can they afford that price? But I recommend when you're starting out, just keep the profit margin low. Then eventually, as you're building your client base, you can increase prices. And then they've tested you; they are going nowhere. So, like, yes, I have clients now that I know you are going nowhere because you've tested what we've done for you, or you've bought things from us before, and you would surely return. So that's it. And then you can't just put a price without a value. You mentioned if you're buying something from, for example, Chanel now, they also have their couture products, and those are high ends. Like so many things were considered. You can't expect that a product that is stitched with hands, that has hand stitches, that takes a longer day to deliver, to be the same thing with a product that was just done with machine with few minutes. So those details, those are the things you have to consider as well. If you're doing hand stitches too, do you have clients that would purchase them at a price that is profitable to you? Like I said, keep the profit margin
be minimal
when starting out, and then you can
continue to
upskill as time goes by, and then when you get there, don't know that you are there.
When they know that this person delivers and is excellent, you can now know that he always delivers value for maybe their premium pricing, or if they come now and they are charging them very high and you're not delivering up to the amount of value, people would most likely
you will lose them. Even if you have built a community, that's the truth. If you have built a community, no matter how loyal your community are to you, if you give them product that is of no value, or the value is not commensurate to the amount
you're charging
or the price tag you put on it, then
apart from maybe poor pricing, are there other biggest mistakes that you think that young designers actually make along their career journey?
Probably lack of focus. Sometimes we want to do so many things at the same time. Imagine starting off when I started then and I want to do academy, I want to do so when you do so many things at the same time, I think you will lose focus along the line and something will definitely suffer, one thing or the other. In terms of staffs, human beings are the most difficult people to deal
To
with.
manage.
Actually, I've I've had seasons where I broke down because some staffs left and all of that. But one thing that I think, one decision that I've made earlier is that in this journey, people will come, people will go. And don't get so emotionally attached to a staff that when they leave, it will now break you down.
Down.
If you have a system in place, you have a structure in place, definitely it might take a while before you find somebody that will fit into that person's shoe. But over time, you will find somebody that will fit into that shoe perfectly. People won't be with you forever. And two things I keep in mind. It's either they've outgrown the company or the company has outgrown them or they are no longer comfortable working with you. So either ways, it's a win-win. But one thing I just ensure is that we don't live on would I say a fight mode, like so that when we not see each other the
you
next
can't
day we won't be able to
see-
no. That shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen. No matter what, like we should be able to see ourselves and say, hi, hello, this person used to be my staff or I used to work with.
Yeah.
Like, let the relationship be called there. Oh, this is my vision, but you are the one helping out the vision. At any point in time, if you feel you're no longer comfortable, come up, say
communicate
it.
and
Like,
then-
and then we'll part.
Because you never know, leaving this place, there might be projects that you might want to outsource to people. If you've
Yes.
started your own already, after you can outsource to them and
outsource
still work
to you
together.
now. Like we'll feel comfortable. We felt at some point we felt comfortable working with you, so we should feel comfortable
even when you're no more
when
working
you're
with
no
them.
more working with us.
You've mentioned some of your best or most fulfilling experiences having your product sell outside the country. I know you're also dreaming for much more than that. What does the future look like for House of Estilos, and what role do you hope that House of Estilos will play in shaping the Nigerian or maybe African fashion industry?
Okay, for House of Estilos, we're striving to be globally recognized. Yeah, so say in 2-3 years, yeah, would see ourselves on global platform on their own ways, stocking globally too. Yeah, we're working towards that. Like that's the focus for now. And for the factory, we're working towards a capacity at the moment. So in 2 years' time, we should hit that capacity, and then we could say probably we have one of the largest factory in Nigeria doing what we are doing at the moment. And in terms of giving back to our community, that's what I see the academy doing. So we're trying to train people that can meet that global standard as well. It doesn't make sense if we're the only ones screaming global standard or we have just a few people screaming, or we can do it the international way. It will make more sense if we have a web or a chain of
everyone doing
manufacturers
excellent work.
doing excellently. I think China started like that. It's not just one person that is being glorified. It's the whole continent that is being glorified. Like, oh, they can do this. We can trust them with this. Once we can solve the issue of skill, I think Nigeria too can achieve what China has at the moment.
Absolutely beautiful. We're rooting for House of Estilos, and I need you guys to go and check out House of Estilos on Instagram, shop. They are ready to wear, and the academy also. I think that your latest internship this year maybe has closed. Hopefully, a new course might be open much later. If you think that you're looking for top-notch academy to learn from, just go there. I mentioned that you heard it from amazing experts. It's been a very, very interesting and exciting conversation so far. I think valuable for young people that have even spent several years building their careers in the fashion space. So for one person that feels unsure or they feel currently stuck, at the phase where they are. Maybe they are just starting out, or they've even been in fashion for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and they are not making a headway, they are not making more money, or they are not even able to live the kind of life or the dream that they want as a fashion designer. What would be your advice for them?
Okay. The latter part is quite funny. Like, okay, you've been working and then you feel, oh, I'm not living the dream.
That you want, the exact picture that you want.
Yeah. So I would say consistency. Like, it's a building block. This is how it happens. Okay, you're building. And especially for people that do not come from a privileged background. So that means you're starting from a foundational level. You know, when you have a barren land, you have to clear the bush out, clear the surface, start laying foundations, then you're putting bricks on bricks before the entire house now became something so beautiful, something so adorable for people to see. So those moments when you feel, hey, do I want to do this? Should I pull out? Just have the end goal in mind. Have the end goal in mind. Go back to why you started, your whys. Why did you start this journey in the first place? Okay, the journey is to achieve this, is to become this. Do you have a... Okay, did I mention that everybody should have a vision for their business now? Vision and mission, right? So you should have a vision, I should have a mission, right? So go back to the vision. So what does the vision say? And what does the mission? How do you want to achieve the missions? So for each time you do a thing or two on your business, you're building, you're putting a block. It's layers upon layers. So the glamour is when everything is set. But if we are building a house, when they're still putting, it doesn't look beautiful though. But after erecting the building, you're like, oh, roof, it's coming together. By the time you screed, oh, it's becoming more beautiful, and then you paint. So like I said, if you don't come from a privileged family, you might not be able to build in 3 months. It will take years to build. So while you're doing 18 or 2, you're building the beautiful house or the beautiful brand is still coming up, and it will surely come up. That is it. So there was a time, I think after I've shared the story of how it took almost 2 years to get just an industrial machine, right? So after we started the factory, we started in 2019. 2020, I had money to buy machines like I was like, God, what happened? But there was a time I waited for years. 2 years. So this was the illustration God gave me then. Like, you have a cup. It's mostly I work by faith. So you have a cup. You're dropping a drop of water daily, or each hour or each minute. Each minute you're doing something on your business. You're dropping. It gets to a point whereby the cup will get filled. And then each drops now overflows. So as you're dropping, it's now overflow. So everything now seems very easy. You feel like, all my struggles, all these years. Okay. And those struggling season, they're learning curves. Initially, when we started, we didn't always have all these structures and systems that buffers us now, or that serves as cushioning now. We didn't always have that. And then my staff that work with me in the early days, I usually tell them, come, you people might think I've learned how to figure this thing out. No.
You're still figuring.
I'm figuring. When I was coming from heaven, God did not hand over a manual that, you build House of Estilos. So this is page 1, this is page 2, this is page 3, this is page 4. So when this thing happened, this is how you behave. Next? This is no. We are learning. So when something happened, we come together, we address it as a team or as a family. So I tell them then, I've never done a business in my life before. This is literally my first business. And maybe the only business I've seen is my dad's business, but I'm not involved. I'm not an engineer. I don't know what he does. So I know that some days he will rant about his staff. Some days they're happy. That's all I know. I don't have a manual. So we're figuring things out. So when things happen, when those struggling days that things don't look like it, and the truth is, are there days that you would second guess yourself? Yes. you will. There are times that you will not always get it right, but each time you don't get it right is a learning curve. Like, you don't beat yourself too much over it. You learn to learn from the situation and move on. You're learning. You're learning.
Thank you so much. It's been a very, very interesting, insightful, and valuable conversation. And what a beautiful way to wrap up this episode with the creative director, House of Estilos. She has shared so much, so much, so much. I think that our listeners, whether on YouTube or any platform where you found this episode, you'd have picked up one or two things. You can figure things out, and it takes time, and it's a journey. You are adding that drop of water. No one will see the difference. They might not see the impact. You are laying the blocks now. Obviously, it's not going to look fine when you're just even digging the foundation. Like the common analogy people talked about, that when, let's say, you want to build a mansion, for example, you need to go down, or you want to build a skyscraper deeper. And in those seasons of building very, very deep foundation, nobody will see it. Nobody will celebrate you. You're going to look as if everything is stagnant. But if you give up, then the work will stop there. But if you continue adding one block, it becomes big, it grows up, screeded, painted, interior decorations. People now want to live in it. People want to take pictures in it. People want to celebrate it. But just know that it takes time, it takes years, but continue, consistency. And even the very, very big people that you are looking up to, like you said, even up to now, there are moments when you are still not entirely sure that, oh, this is the best direction, but you just have that open mind that we can figure it out.
Yes,
even if we make mistake, we'll make adjustment, and eventually be able to achieve all of your dreams. Thank you so much. I've enjoyed the conversation, and I hope that our audience also have learned.
Thank you for
so
having
much
me.
for the conversation. We will bring House of Estilos again, several years again. Maybe when they debut in Paris, in France, in Germany, or in China. They now have a production house even in China for us. So have this conversation again. Thank you so much, guys, for watching and for listening. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.